Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year! I have been so busy with this Christmas elf. If you follow me on Instagram, Leilani of Barbados on Instagram, you will see all the things I did. And we had a Christmas elf come. Her name was Elfia.
Do you have furniture for inside my house? Do you want me to read?
And it was just so much fun for my son, especially. So I'm going to get right into this video. No intro, New Year, no intro. Okay. So first of all, Harry and Meghan release first photo of Lilibet on Christmas card. I'm just going to say this right off the bat. I think that Meghan has something called a humiliation fetish, which is just constantly doing things to make us feel cringe and somehow getting pleasure out of it. And the last thing we saw was with the Ellen DeGeneres interview, where it was just complete like voluntary humiliation on her part. And she's just seeming to
Now drink it.
thrive in that. It kind of comes from that whole idea that no publicity is bad publicity, but then it goes a step further with like actually enjoying hate from things you say, you know. Anyway, this picture of Harry and Meghan on Christmas card, it's Meghan looks the best out of the picture, of course, and Harry looks half eyes open, half closed, and the baby looks very happy, and the other baby is not even really, his face is not shown. So I don't know what the point of this was. I actually don't. I think a part of the big cringe factor is that Meghan actually thinks that this is important to the public, to release photos on a Christmas card as though she was an actual reigning monarch. That part. But the next thing, right after the Ellen interview, which I covered in my last video, have a look at it. It was crazy. It was embarrassing for her and for anyone. It's like you get secondhand embarrassment just watching it. So then she goes out shopping, which everyone said was a stunt. It was a planned paparazzi stunt where she went to this store and was frantically shopping. She was on her phones, but you know, no one else was there except for like one pap. And then that one pap was apparently, there was a whole debate on whether that one pap was this other guy or if it was from a PR company, and everyone knew it was from a PR company. And people did some deep digging to find out that this person was actually, the photographer was actually from a PR company that she hires to pap her, because also where she was papped was very unusual. And I think that somebody who lives in LA for so long, like, shouldn't you know, like, there's certain, like, Nobu. Go to Nobu if you want it to look like you've really been papped. Even I know that. Like, somewhere in Malibu, then you might actually get papped for real instead of organizing it in this small bespoke gourmet store or whatever. So also what she was wearing, I can't wear brown. Like, I just can't wear brown. Like, I just hate brown on me, and I just think I hate brown on anyone actually, because it's just so drab. So she's doing the brown coat LA look with the beanie a la David Beckham in LA. You know, because once David Beckham went to LA, he just started wearing a beanie like all the time. So I guess whatever. And she's covering her face. But anyway, I don't want to go too much into that because it was just another press pap stunt that she organized. Okay. What I did want to go into today, very excited about it. Has anyone else gone down the Reddit hole? There's a whole rabbit hole for Reddit that is super exciting. It's people like you and me who have questions, and there's threads of people giving their opinions and digging up photos and giving their, snapshots. And it's like Twitter but focused on a topic. And it's a thread. It's really a thread. It's a community. This particular Reddit is Saint Meghan Markle, called the patron saint of liars. What is your all-time favorite Meghan Markle lie that makes you chuckle? I mean, I feel like this is my actual right to do this, because I was one of the first people, for those who don't know, when I went viral with the Oprah interview, I was one of the first people that called out that what I saw from the interview indicated to me that she was lying. Coming from where I come from, looking at what I was presented with on my television, I thought that she was lying. And I got a lot of backlash for that initially, because people just they just saw the optics of like, oh, she's talking about racism, but there was no foundation, there was no detail, there was no calling out, there was no backbone to it, and also she looks like a white lady. So I was one of the first people that said I doubt that she really experienced that, and I got a lot of threats on my life and all kinds of things, and it was fine, because in like 2 weeks everyone else kind of came to the other side, come into the light, and realized that, yeah, she lied on people. So I feel like this was extremely important for me to look at this Reddit stuff. Well, first of all, I want to talk about, if I may, one of the most lovely things about Meghan to me is her freckles. So I painted on some freckles because I really love freckles. I don't know why. Since I was a child, I've always loved freckles, and I don't have them. So I painted some on. Okay, whatever. I'll just attach some photos because that's not working. Okay. But anyway, all-time favorite lies from Meghan. Is he kind?
One question, I said, well, is he nice? Because if he wasn't kind, it didn't seem like it would make sense.
Remember when she said the only thing she wanted her friend to tell her about Harry is he kind? Because if he isn't, it wouldn't make sense. And then someone says, because if he isn't, we are a perfect match. And then someone else says, that was the lamest thing she said in the entire interview. That was the interview on the couch about their engagement. Exactly. Like, we're supposed to believe most people out there are instead asking, is he a terrible human being? A sociopath even? If not, it wouldn't make sense. And I can't. And I worked so hard. Another one. Oh, another one is, I worked hard to fund my education at college. Also, Meghan, thanks to my parents' sacrifices for funding my education. That's the top of somebody else's list as well. Someone said she didn't finish her degree. Someone said, I have never ever asked a mate trying to set me up with someone, is he kind? It's normally superficial. Is he fun? What does he look like? If I was told I was being set up on a blind date with Prince Harry, my first question would be, what do I wear? It's true. People want to know superficial things, like obviously off the bat, especially depending on who is setting you up on the date, because you know your friends. And if it's your friend that's like really woke or something, you'll be like, oh, is this like a hippie? Is this like some kind of like political woke like activist person? Or if your friend is super superficial, you'll be like, oh my god, is this a guy that like drives a Bentley or something? Like, what is going on? Who are you? You would ask, but you never, is he kind? But that is so subjective and insane to actually think of asking anyone if they think a blind date is kind. What does that really mean? Did it mean so? It could have meant something else to her. Kind might have meant something else to her. It could have meant, is he going to pay for my dinner, or are we doing Dutch? Like, it could have been like, do I have to bring my taxi money, my Vex money? We call it Vex money in Barbados, though. Like, in case the thing doesn't go well, you need your Vex money in case you get vexed or angry and have to like find your way home quickly. Yeah, but it's just a stupid it was very stupid thing. And that's what is what I'm talking about, the humiliation fetish. Like, she says these things that I can only imagine she knows sound cringe, and yet basks in the glory of saying them. It's like that entire setup with the cake and all of that in her marble white palatial setup there, and with the comedian. I did a video on that too. I'll link it here, but I'm just coming to terms with the fact that that was so intentionally cringe. Who does that? Who does that? YouTube is a very funny platform because you have people that thrive on hate watching. So they actually now disable the downvote button, the thumbs down, so you can only have likes but not dislikes. But before that, people were thriving on having dislikes, literally like 90% dislike to 10% like, and they were still making, they were monetizing their videos still because people were still watching them. So I get it for YouTube, but like, if you're not actually monetizing that on YouTube, like, why would you sit in life? And that's what they said. They said after the Ellen DeGeneres interview, she must have gone into hiding because nobody heard or saw anything from her. And she must have had some kind of self-awareness to realize that Ellen DeGeneres interview made her look even worse than she did. How about no? How about no? There she came right back out, organized a pap shoot in the brown coat, and it was right back at us. And I think that's why I have come to the conclusion that she has a humiliation fetish, because most people would have laid low and then come back out with something super humanitarian, super like heartfelt or something to like somehow change the narrative of what's going on. But no, she came back out and organized a pap shoot, which made people feel even worse about her again. Love it. She loves the she loves the negative attention is all I can think. Anyway, someone said, if I was told a blind date with Prince Harry, I'd probably be like, how do I get out of it? Dude hurts horses back then, I think. Yeah, I mean, somebody, they have this idea about poor Prince Harry, that he knows not what he does sometimes when it comes to horses. But I just think that was a temper issue. Like, I also covered that. I've covered a lot, though. Hello. I also covered the horse thing with the polo, where he was very aggressive with the horse after it threw him. But I don't know anything about killing horses. Like, oh God, they're saying so many crazy things. So let's go on to another Reddit. Subreddit. Oh, so okay, we're still dealing with the Ellen interview. We're still dealing with the backlash from the Ellen interview. So this one is, again, from St. Meghan Markle, but this is a subreddit of hers, which the title is, if you're going to lie about your car, make sure your in-laws scrub the internet first, because the Daily Mail got the video. 18-year-old Meghan Markle cruises around LA in home video. So in the Ellen DeGeneres interview, she talks about driving a Ford Explorer, I believe, and that it was broken. So the doors were broken, so she could only get through the trunk, and she had to crawl into the trunk. And Ellen challenges her about that. And I'm not going to put any footage of that in here, but trust me. Ellen challenges her about that and says, but did no one on the lot notice that you were like coming for auditions and like crawling into the back of a car, And she's like, no, I used to be really good about it. I used to be like, oh, I'm looking for something. And all of a sudden, like, my entire body's in the car. And, you could see Ellen was like, you're just making a big fool of yourself right now. She's looking at her that way. But at the same time, people said that that's not the car she had. And that is a whole made up story to make her look like this struggling actress, like crawling into the back of cars because her car doesn't have any doors. And like, you can't scrub the internet though. I just want to say that you can't scrub the internet. The internet is forever. So anything you put on there will be downloaded, uploaded, and copied and recopied. And so I don't know why this person said that it could be possible for her in-laws to scrub the internet. No. Nobody, not even the royal family, can scrub the internet. That's what's so equalizing about it. No one can change that narrative. Once it's out there, it's out there. So they run this video of her 18-year-old Meghan with her friends, or her friend. And there she is driving in her car. And it's not a Ford Explorer. Her room looks so chaotic, like even for 18 years old. Okay, this is a Nissan. Hold on. Some kind of Nissan sedan car. So they just drive through the posh parts of LA, Beverly Hills. The classy girl license plate, she said that's a license plate her ex-boyfriend. The ex-boyfriend got me. That's what you call force, right? Like, she's talking about him like she has many. At 18, I don't know. The ex-boyfriend got me that, you know. Classy girl. Classy girl. She talks about where her dad lives, I guess. And he can see the sign, the Hollywood sign from his house. Super superficial. Just talking about, oh, Melrose, Beverly Hills, my dad, Northwestern students meeting at the Beverly Hilton, and my dad can see the Hollywood sign. Lots of pictures of her, like, oh my God, the bed. Sorry. The bed. Is that her mom? Just super junky. It's like a roll of paper towel just in there. You guys. Hi, come.
I want to have something from the blue basket.
From the blue basket? That's the treat basket. Okay, show me what you want and I can tell you. Okay. Strawberries.
Still be fun, and that would probably be like $200.
That's still good.
So that's that, and I am burning up. And I was really nervous that I was going to just fall out of my.
She just doesn't want her hair to get curly. I know the feeling, darling. Do not let your hair sweat, because when you have curly hair and you've like flat ironed it within an inch of its life, you definitely don't want any sweat to get on it, because then it will look kind of like this.
She's got. Oh my God.
Why is she standing in front of
She's
my
like,
car?
hi guys.
I never understand how
What
weird
is she
people
doing?
Guys.
I'm not going to scare her, but can she move? Come on. Excuse me. Now it's a
I mean, this is a lot of
turn.
kiki. Somebody standing in front of my car. God,
From my
Beverly
dad's house.
Hills.
From my dad's house.
Forgive her,
The
she's
Hollywood sign.
18,
But
and
we aren't gonna go there
it's quite funny that happened to her, to be
My dad and I
honest.
aren't on the best of terms. I would like to stop and see if I have any mail, but honestly,
Awkward.
So anyway, we're gonna come through
So
here.
that's that video. Then you have this other thing. Yeah, so she's just, her nose looks very different. So a lot of people are thinking that she had a nose job. Definitely had a nose job. It's so funny because like people think that Rihanna had a nose job and she didn't. I don't think she did, honestly. I think that Rihanna's nose looks exactly the same, and her nose here looks a lot like Rihanna's nose, but it doesn't look like Rihanna's nose anymore. Interesting fact. So she definitely did it, and I think it's a bad job. Like, I actually noticed it when she was getting married, like the wedding footage. I was like, whose nose is actually shaped like that? Like, it just seems like an unnatural shape. Like, it's long, but it's short, but it's like fat, but it's thick. It's not a good job. It's not a good nose job. But I've always wanted a nose job. But then a makeup artist once asked me, was doing my makeup, and said, did you have a nose job? And I was like, okay, then I don't need one. Because if someone already thinks I have one, then I definitely don't need one. Anyways, doesn't matter. Yeah, she definitely had one. Okay, so the next Reddit thing was about Meghan Markle, the lying Duchess of Sussex, getting into her Ford Explorer using the driver's door. Guess the clicker wasn't working after all. 2 pics from 2003 after graduating from Northwestern University in Chicago. 5 pics from a car ad to verify the car make in her photos. So, oh, by the way, somebody said they could relate to her horrible brows in that picture. someone saying that she had toilet paper stuck to her dress, and did nobody ever tell her that? Well, I can relate to that because that was a dress style. I think it was like a Brazilian thing, like a Brazilian dress style where it was like these cutaway pieces and cutaway, and like that was a thing. Okay, so guilty as charged as well for wearing dresses like that. So I'm not gonna like, here you have the Prince Harry and Meghan Markle loving life as a family of 4. This is also Reddit, but are experiencing the challenge of finding that work-life balance. Duchess makeup artist Daniel Martin claims, and I want to talk a little bit about him because he's a whole fraud. Yeah, you can see where he does his video with Access Hollywood, I guess, like helping her to put on makeup. And the first thing he says, and she's like on camera, like, and she is beautiful. She's a beautiful woman. But just how he says it, like, I just know.
So beautiful.
Well, thank you.
That's beautiful.
You're beautiful. So she's come on with a raw face to show how to put on makeup, getting advice from Meghan Markle's makeup artist, to get advice on how to put on makeup. And he does give some good tips. Like I like the tip about like the underlining the top lid.
If you lift up your eye and take an eyeliner and go underneath on the top waterline of your lash line, that creates a really finished lash line where your lashes will look thicker.
I like that advice. For example, I've watched it for you so you don't have to. That's really the best advice he gave in the whole video.
You start blinking, that pigment will fall down into your bottom, and it'll create this really beautiful dimension on your eye. I don't know if you're already seeing it, but
I'm loving it.
Yeah, so that black brown, what it does is it kind of warms up dark eyes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I really love that. I'm surprised in all my years. I honest to God have never done the top waterline on myself.
But this fraudulent, you're beautiful, like as she appears raw face, like. But I just want to say that the way that Meghan Markle talks, there's something called vocal fry, which I found out about, which is the way that she talks, and she's like, you have to know that what happened. Like, okay, so the poppy dress, I can show you that.
My husband and I are thrilled to soon be welcoming a daughter. It's a feeling of joy we share with millions of other families around the world.
It's something called vocal fry, and apparently they use it a lot on, the young people use it a lot on TikTok, sorry, like Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, to make themselves sound really cool. Because you're not really putting much effort into what you're saying. You're just barely getting the vocal cords moving, barely. So that's called vocal fry, and her vocal fry is all the way on point. Basically, I don't know why I'm talking about that. That's just something I've always wanted to address. Like, what is that way that she talks? That again annoys everybody and feeds her humiliation fetish. I'm going to charge up my battery a little bit and get back to the top 10 secrets that Meghan Markle doesn't want you to know. Hi, okay, so I want to jump into the last segment of my video, which is the top 10 secrets that Meghan Markle does not want you to know. And this is done by another YouTuber, but I'm just going to run through it because it's interesting. Harry and Meghan are related. The Daily Mail did some fake research, and apparently there's some 15th century connection to Meghan and Harry. Meh. Okay, that's number 10. Number 9, Meghan always wanted to be famous and calculated who she was close to as a friend. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, okay, so she lived in Hollywood. Her dad was in the industry. He was a lighting director, Emmy Award-winning one. So I don't see how her upbringing would have been any different than wanting to be famous and wanting to be well connected. I mean, that's actually her life. If you grew up on a farm, you have other things that are important to you, for example, with animals. But if you're in Hollywood, LA, almost said LA. If you're in LA, that's a Jamaican. If you're in LA, you want to know famous people. Sorry. But like, seriously, if you're in LA, Hollywood, yeah, that's your upbringing. That's your environment. Nothing big about that. You know, I'm trying to be fair. Anyway, Meghan cheated with Harry. She was dating Corey Vitelio when she started dating Harry. Okay, so this is interesting because a lot of people were saying that she was still married when she dated Harry. That's not true. She actually was dating a chef instead of her director ex-husband. She was dating a chef and then met Harry. And the chef said that he was still dating her up to when Harry and Meghan went public or leaked or whatever. So there's that. But of course, maybe he wasn't kind. The chef. I can't imagine a chef not being kind, but anyway. At number 7, Hollywood has changed Meghan. So there it says that fame changed her once she started dating Harry, and she's all about climbing the social ladder. But I thought you said that she always did that in her upbringing. Like, I thought you already said that she always wanted to be famous at number 9. You know, she is what she is. A leopard never changes its spots. So, not surprising. Sorry, I just love this number 6. Now remember, these are 10 secrets that Meghan does not want you to know. She chose her career over marriage. Dun 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 dun. I don't know. That's not really a secret. She moved to Canada and left her husband back in LA. So to say that she chose her career over marriage, she was married to a producer. Sorry, did I say director? I mean producer. And then she moved to Canada. Okay, like groundbreaking. But anyway, I'm just going through these things because it really caught my attention, this video. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Okay, so coming in at number 5 is that she doesn't treat animals well, and that is because she had some mysterious injuries with her animals. And also you'll notice, like, once she moved to LA, that she left some of her dogs in Canada or in England, or like someone was saying that it's because the rescue dogs were not as well adjusted that she left them behind but kept like the pedigree ones or whatever. Yeah, so that's number 5, that she doesn't treat animals well. Totally unforgivable. Anyway, moving on. She wanted a British man and used Lizzie Cundy to find her one. She was rejected by a few. Okay, so that's another secret that's coming in at number 4. She always wanted a British man. Yeah, so she cut off all her friends except for Lizzie Cundy to get her an English man. She just was super focused, tunnel vision. All right, so she tried to get somebody and ended up with Harry. Bad treatment of his aides and staff, and they all quit. Kate told her about it. I had seen some reports where several people told her about her treatment of the staff at the Royal Palace, especially leading up to her wedding, and including the Queen had to have a word with her about the way that they treat people versus how she treats people. And if she's going to be part of that family, that she would have to learn how to treat people differently than she is treating them. And they all quit, and these are people who had been there for several years. And I just want you to like think, I know a lot of you are not in the UK, some of you are, but I'm just thinking, no matter what capacity you are staff at the Royal Palace, you would really value your job. And that's why they had decades of commitment to their jobs at the Royal Palace, because it's great to work there. I mean, do I have to explain that? Anyway, they all quit suddenly when they had to deal with Meghan. So that does say a lot. And I definitely think that's not a secret, because we do have some upcoming lawsuits that we're going to be looking at. And so that was coming in at number 3. So number 2, this goes on with, well, this is number 2, but inappropriate requests, like trying to get Febreze. She was trying to Febreze St. George's Chapel because it smelled old. So that was I don't know, that request was really scandalized. I guess she must have, to get that spoken about, it's quite petty, I think, yeah, you don't get Febreze in there, and that's that. But she obviously pushed it far enough that it was talked about a lot. Okay, so because she tried to Febreze St. George's Chapel, people are talking about there are several other requests that were inappropriate by Meghan Markle during her time, which was like 18 months in England. Number 1, Meghan knew she wasn't going to stay royal. Always wanted to go back to Hollywood with a head start, extra clout, as we say in the YouTube world, with extra clout. She wanted to go back there and have something to make her stand out more than she did in all the years that she was doing auditions, climbing into the back of her trunk. Anyway, listen, I want to tell you guys something. Thank you so much for sticking with me. It's been a lot going on. I have so much to tell you, and I really want to update you, but you don't have to watch my videos, and I appreciate that you do. And I really try to think of you all the time. And, you know, I have a young son who is out of school right now, and he's really quite active with golf. And, you know, he did a musical performance during this Christmas holiday that was amazing. And I just really want you to know that I am going to give all my time to you as soon as he goes back to school. Like, seriously. So I'm just really happy to have you with me, and thank you so much for watching me. I really appreciate it, and lots of love to you. And please subscribe, press the bell notification so that you can see when I do come hot and heavy with all my videos as soon as he goes back to school. And also give a thumbs up if you like it. Apparently now you can't do dislikes, so all the Meghan sugars. Anyway, thank you so much for watching me. I love you. Okay, bye.